What is up, Seattle? How are we today? We are talking about the draft picks, schedule, and what's going to go on for the rest of the future. Let's talk Seattle. Let's go. Good morning, Seahawks. We are talking about Seattle Seahawks here on Dynasty Pylon. We are going to pretty much freaking expect a new era for this team, a new atmosphere. It's very exciting. Everything A lot of these teams are new. We've been talking about new coaches, new quarterbacks, new running backs, but this they changed the staff, they changed the way they run things, their coaching, just a whole lot. There's probably only like one coach left from the Pete Carroll days, but everything else is pretty much new. Ran under Mike McDonald, so it's pretty interesting on how coming in for a second year. It's still that fresh atmosphere. But for the first time in 15 years, they're going to have a practice with another team, and normally that's not what they do. So the Tennessee Titans are scheduled to come in for in training camp later on in 3 weeks. Right now, the mandatory mini camp's over, obviously, and they cut it short. So Mike McDonald just had just the 2 days, and they cut it short. So I mean, he saw what he needed. Maybe he did it. He didn't want to really, risk getting his guys injured in 3 days. I don't know. He just cut it short for 2 days, and that's fine. Maybe he saw what he needed to see. But majority of the work is going to happen towards the back end of the summer. So that was his call. So not anything to worry about. I mean, it is what it is. So let's get started with the history, right? Obviously, Pete Carroll was there for 14 seasons, and he continuously got there as you know as the main face of this team for 2 years ago, right? Last year they didn't have him. So it was kind of interesting, like just not him being in the air, this there in the atmosphere. It's just really weird, right? And then no more Russ, no more like everything that was Legion of Boom is just gone. That's how it's kind of been. Last year they went, they didn't really do so hot, I guess, in terms of what to expect from them. So it was just, we'll see how this goes. I mean, he was the coach for the Ravens. He ran the defense there for about 3 seasons in Baltimore. So it's kind of interesting to see he's going to do to revamp this team, to make it a better team. But I don't think that the talent isn't half bad. I think it's really good. Obviously, they brought in, from the Giants, Leonard Williams, who signed a 3-year deal for like $64 million. So awesome for them. It's really needed. And then they also brought in Sam Howell, who could be a good asset, good backup. I kind of like him as a good backup, and I don't think behind Geno Smith is overall too much of a bad situation. We've seen what Geno Smith can do. We see what he can carry this team to. 2 years ago, he threw like 30 touchdowns, and he was like leading the league in touchdowns. So he can do it. I'm I'm not saying that it's a terrible situation. You could have worse. So I gotta be happy for this. But overall, it's not entirely too bad. I think what the Seattle Seahawks are going to bring this year is definitely going to bring their A game. They've improved. They brought in most of the guys from last year. They've improved, and I think with the new scheme, new era, like I think they're going to run both running backs, and I think that it's going to be a big workhorse with Zach Charbonnet Walker, and then you can't not include the wide receivers that they have there. They have some pretty good talent there. So let's talk about it, right? They brought in the rookies. They didn't have a second overall pick, right? So it's kind of interesting to where they landed on what they did with their draft picks. But I like it. I like what they did. Brian Murphy, as their number one pick at 16, defensive tackle out of Texas. He's gonna bring a special talent to this line, and I like him a lot. So behind Dermot Jones, I think he's going to eventually work his way up. I mean, Leonard Williams there, Jaron Reed, and Boye Mafe. So I have a feeling he might end up sneaking past Jaron Reed, but we'll see. He plays end, so they run like a 3-4. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if how they're going to rotate it. He might even outbeat Jones by next year. Boye Mafe plays that edge, kind of DN. So they kind of run like a 3-4-4-3 kind of like balance between both with Boye Mafe. He's got that skill to do it. So we'll see. We'll see. I like it though. I like what this defense is bringing. They made their first choice with Brian Murphy. I think it's a very good selection. I don't see how it wasn't a horrible selection. It's what they needed. Get some young guns in there. So I think Christian Haynes at guard from Connecticut was their third pick because they didn't have a second pick. Not entirely a bad choice either. Again, this is something that, the line has been struggled for years. We've seen it always crumble. I think with this being there, I think we're with Christian Hayes being there, I think this will help out Tomlinson and Bradford and Lucas. I think it's going to be good. I think Christian Haynes is going to eventually learn behind these guys, implement himself as probably a starting third, a guard. Sorry. So as a third overall selection, he's going to get some reps. He's going to go get him some. And I think he's going to probably eventually be a starter here pretty come soon. I don't even think it's going to be a whole year before this guy ends up being one of the starter over some of these guys. He's got talent. So the rest of these guys in the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, they had three 6th round picks, a 5th, and 2 4ths. The 2 4ths were Tyrese Knight, linebacker at Texas El Paso, and the 4th round selection was AJ Barner, tight end out of Michigan. Again, not necessarily things that they probably will need. I mean, the linebacker, yes, Tyrese Knight is probably going to be used a bunch, but AJ Barner, they got no Fant still. He's been kind of there, and they got Pharaoh Brown, also pretty decent. Does AJ Barner start over them? I don't think so. Not anytime soon. But it takes tight ends some time to actually accumulate their status, and then actually sometimes it takes tight ends almost 3 years to actually officially get themselves in the starting lineup, even the good ones. So it just happens. So with linebackers, of course, you got Jerome Baker. Boye Mafe kind of plays that edge, so you can consider him as a linebacker, and Tyrese Dobson, and then you got Nwosu is there, who's just as good. He's probably one of the best actually there. So with Jerome Baker, so it's not a bad. Tyrese Knight is going to learn. I think he's going to be pretty good, decent asset there eventually. For the rest of these guys, the 5th and 6th round picks, you got Bridget, a cornerback out of Auburn, and then Lorenia at another guard out of Utah. James, a cornerback out of Auburn, and then Jarrell, offensive tackle out of Findlay. So these guys can make their way to the roster. Again, this year, it's not a 93-man roster anymore. It's an 85. So it's going to be struggle. They might take some of these guys. They might cut them. Who knows? So we'll see how it turns out this summer camp. They got 3 weeks off right now. They come back. I can't even think. What's 3 weeks from now? I can't even think right now. 3 weeks from now would be the 10th-ish. So probably anywhere between the 9th and the 16th. I think training camps are going to start opening back up. I think no later than the 17th, obviously. So they should be back. Should be in full swing of things. Mandatory OTAs are pretty much done. So yeah. What's up, Tua? How are you doing, man? And also, Derpy comes in saying Murphy is the only name I see. Then, but Barner though is underrated pick. Yeah. These guys are going to be good. I think Tyrese Knight's going to make him establish himself. I don't think Barner's probably going to be anything for a little bit. But I think Christian Haynes and Byron Murphy are definitely going to make an impact eventually here on this team. I think they'll stay there at least 4 years at minimum. So I'm not worried about, those guys. It's the other guys that are like a 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks. Those guys I might worry about. They might just get replaced by next year. I know that's harsh to say, but it's reality. It's reality. the rookies guys come in. Sometimes they shove these guys to the side. They're like, hey, listen, I'm just a better player than you. And that's just the way the draft works. You draft better talent to upgrade the team, right? If you don't make it, you don't make it. All right, let's talk about the offense. What can I say? This if there's no injuries, they're gonna be off fire. They really are. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to actually do more damage this year than he did last year. And last year, a lot of people were like, well, he didn't really do it. I'm like, he had 800 yards. For a rookie, that's not bad. So, and especially being under these two legends, Lockett and Metcalf, like, you ask me, 800 yards being in that position, it's not bad. And we all know that Lockett's going to be on his way out. We all know, we're all expecting it. At some point, Lockett's going to retire or he's going to leave somewhere else. He's going to sign a one-year deal here, and then probably the next year, another one-year deal there, and then probably call it quits. That's just the way normally these guys are. You start seeing them start signing one-year deals to certain teams, it's kind of getting to that, run, that end run. Nobody wants to have a guy unless they have like a 4-year contract and they committed to the team and then they just, decide to retire at 30 to 34 years of age. That's just how it happens. Sucks, but hey, it's a business. So with these three, and then you got D. Eskridge and then Jake Bobo, who, Geno Smith seems to love. He seems to love him. I don't see how the talent's not going to be that detrimental there. And then you can't forget about Noah Fant and Pharaoh Brown. The guy has weapons. They can get it done. I don't see how this team isn't going to go and it isn't going to, go bad. I don't see it offensively. Offensively, I think these guys can do it. They have the talent. DK Metcalf is one of the best receivers in the league. Not to mention Lockett. Lockett can hold his own. Lockett can outdo Metcalf some games. Now, as for athletic standpoint, obviously Metcalf is a way more better athlete. I mean, just look at the guy. The guy's like, what? It's just pure freaking muscle. He does look leaner this year for sure. That's one thing. He does look a little bit leaner. It looks like he might actually be a little bit faster now. Who knows? Maybe he did that on purpose. Some of these guys go get a bit leaner to get a little bit of speed so they don't have to carry so much weight. He looks about 5 to 10 pounds lighter this year. So I'm not saying maybe he's not stronger, but he is faster. So that could be. And the guy's still a beast. It doesn't matter. As for JSN's sake, I think he might actually match those yards, if not get better. We'll see. Again, these guys don't typically get injured, and I'm not seeing Lockett or Metcalf come off the field at all. Lockett maybe here and there, Metcalf is gone, but nothing that's gotten them off the field entirely for like a whole season or for like 8 weeks or anything dramatic. It's always been like a game or two where they just couldn't due to, a thumb or their leg, a hamstring or something. It wasn't anything that was so crazy that Geno didn't have weapons around him. And say these weapons are gone, right? Like, it doesn't even matter because you have Kevin Wathers and Zach Charbonnet, who are a very good duo. And then, Kenny McIntosh is just, he's got weapons. So I'm not worried about this team offensively. I think they can do some damage, and this team might actually be a threat in a lot of matchups. So I wouldn't think too low of these guys, to be honest. So obviously for dynasty purposes, your best bet right now is probably throw a low end draft pick for Jake Bobo, because you might be able to get him if off waivers or something like that. But I feel like Jake Bobo or D. Eskridge will probably be more involved, like especially D. Eskridge. I think he's going to be more involved with the kick returns. So if you have punt return, kick return yards, I would throw a low draft pick for someone like that. If you have the space, I think he'll probably be the first one in behind these three receivers. So you might get some yardage. You might, back end of the season or something in case one of these guys do get injured. I think he's probably going to be the main priority here to get. And then you can just outbeat the waivers. I think you get them right away. Geno Smith, and probably on a roster. Most of these guys are going to be rostered. Zach Charbonnet is probably going to be your cheapest guy here. But I think you could probably throw like a third, maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds for Zach Charbonnet. I know a lot of running backs are hard to get right now, and I know that it's going to be interesting to see where they go, but it's really hard. If now say Zach Charbonnet is on a team where a bunch of running backs are all like just beat up or they're just old or they don't have a lot, the price might be a little bit harder. But Kenneth Walker is going to be the main guy here. I'm not arguing that. More than likely, it's going to be 60-40. And the most interesting thing I have to say, if you're going to try and buy one of these guys, Jackson Smith and Jigba, this is going to be the cheapest year you're going to get him. This is going to be the cheapest year you're going to get him. Because after this year, you're not going to be able to get him. Not as cheap. And I know that's saying something now because last year it was his rookie year. I get it. This year he's coming into a sophomore year and it doesn't even seem that way, but you could have some type of leverage that, maybe he's not going to be involved again. I don't know. You can swindle your way through it to get him, whatever you got to do, but this is probably going to be the cheapest. After this year, we don't know how much Lockett's going to play. We don't know how long he's, we don't know. We don't know. But he's probably going to swing into that number 2 spot. At that point, you're going to have the price is probably going to go just as high as when it was his rookie year. So as for that, offensively and defensively, offense is going to look nice. Defense could be just as good. They made some moves. I mean, Brian Murphy, I said that he was probably going to get his way in there. You got Leonard Wood, Brian Murphy, Dermott Jones, and Boye Mafe at the front 4. I know a lot of these lines have been really good in the last couple of days that we've been covering these teams. This team also has pretty good linebackers behind them. Also has really good DBs behind them. We might be looking at another Legion of Boom. If they can keep these guys, we might be looking at another Legion of Boom. Because Devin Weatherspoon, despite him being his second year, is already taking care of that defense. Already becoming that leader. Already. In training camp, he was hyping them up. They had an interception back, and he was the first one down there and just hyping them up. He was just smile ear to ear. And he's hyping these guys up. As a sophomore, that's good. And Woolen and Julian Love, who's a very good asset, by the way, and Rashawn Jenkins, like these guys, this defense is going to be nasty. This defense is going to be nasty. And whatever you want to say and how you think about it, I think they're going to keep up with the Niners this year. I really do. If there's no injuries. If there's no injuries and anything like that, I think this team's going to do pretty good. So, moving on to Dynasty of IDP. If your league mates have not heard of Devin Weatherspoon yet, or he's just not on anybody's roster, I highly suggest getting him. Devin Weatherspoon is going to be the key point of this defense, and I'm excited for him because this defense had nothing but Bobby Wagner behind them, and that was the key defense player for this entire time. They quickly replaced that, and I think Weatherspoon's going to take over that spot real quick. This is going to be his defense, and I'm not. I kid you not. I'm excited for him. I really am. Sorry, man. Coming in with a question. Is that a question? I got JSN and a second round for Diggs. I have CD and other weapons at receiver. As you're just stating this. Are you trying to trade JSN and a second for Diggs? I'm not trading for Diggs. Are you going to win now? Maybe. But Diggs isn't going to be... You have more time with JSN than you would with freaking Diggs. And it's a second, too. I don't know. I prefer JSN over Diggs right now for Dynasty. If you and you have CD. So I'm not sure if that's a question or not. And you said other weapons at receiver. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but um I'm not trading for Diggs. Diggs is how old is he? 30, 32? No, he's 30. Oh, he's looking 32. He's 30. Yeah, but Jackson Smith and Jigba is just way younger. I don't know. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. He's 22 years old. Yeah, I don't know. I prefer JSN. I think JSN is like when I look at JSN, he's just like a basketball player playing football. He makes these jumps. Like JSN's amazing. I think we haven't seen his ceiling yet. We haven't seen his ceiling yet. If you have JSN, you're keeping him. Like what was he? Let's see. Last year, I know I said it was like 800 yards, right? So what was it? Total. Let me see. What was it? 800? Oh, 628. The hell was I thinking? That's still not bad though. Targeted 93 times and 9.97 yards per reception with 4 touchdowns. Okay. I'm not he's under two legends. You can't justify how bad that is as a rookie. And he's a rookie. He's under two really good players. Once Lockett's gone, it's going to be DK and him. DK's stuck there for what? Another 4 years. We're going to see JSN DK there a couple more years. At least you'll have JSN there for 3 years, maybe 4 years, where Diggs will probably be gone, cry his way out of the Texans, and that's just what he does. He gets disgruntled real easy, and then he's gone. And then I honestly, after the Texans, I don't think Diggs are going to play anywhere else. I don't think so. And if he does, he's going to play for like another team here, 1 year there, 1 year here, but it's not going to be easy. He's slowly turning into Antonio Brown. So that's kind of sad to say because I like Diggs, but I'm not. I'd rather have Jason, and I'll keep my second too. I'm not trading JSN in a second for Diggs. No way. He says, no, I got JSN. After the stream, check out the roster on Sleeper you saw the other day. Oh, okay. The one you sent? Okay. All right. Is he on there? My bad. Okay. Moving on. Let's go to. Did we do defense? We did defense, right? Yeah. Let's talk about the schedule. It's kind of balanced. It's not too hard, not too easy. I believe it's kind of balanced. Denver, New England, easy win. And then you probably get blown out by Miami. I think Miami's just too good right now. I think Miami, they're just too fast. Everything's working out for them. I think it's Miami's era right now competing. I think they take that division. So, but we're not talking about them. So Denver, New England, 2-0. Then you host Miami. I think Miami, you come here and just run all over you. Sorry, but not sorry. I just that's the way I see it. I don't know. So then you got Detroit. It's going to be another tough matchup. That one could be a loss. Detroit top 5 right now. We've seen him do better throughout the years, and I think it's also that era of the Lions right now. So I think 2-2. Then you got the Giants, who I think bounce back with the win. Then San Francisco. Thursday night football. They're in Seattle. Call me crazy, but I think you win that one. And then you like go on a away games for the next 3 weeks. So I think you win that one, but I think you split with San Francisco when you travel there to the Bay Area of California, San Francisco. So yeah, I think that's what happens this year between Seattle and the Niners. As for Atlanta, I think you guys can probably beat them. Buffalo, that's going to be another tough matchup, but I think you guys lose there. I think you probably can handle LA Rams. And I think where are the Rams at? Week 18. I think you guys might lose the Week 18 win against since it is the last week for Seattle and the Rams. I think you guys have enough wins to but that's a division one. We'll see where they're at. So I see Denver, New England, right? New York Giants, Atlanta. I say you beat LA right there, and then you have a Week 10 bye week, which is not too bad. It's not early, but it's kind of like early in the middle. Like it's like 2/4 of the way. So I Week 10 is not bad. It's not horrible. I prefer after Week 10. Just my opinion. Some people like it early. Some people like it in the middle. That's kind of like in the middle, anyways. So I see 5 wins before. So you guys are 5-5. Like I said, before I looked at it, it looks balanced. So, then we travel to San Francisco. There, I think you lose. Then you go to Arizona, or no, you host Arizona. That one you probably win. The Jets, you lose. Assuming that the Jets are all healthy. And I've covered the Jets, and the Jets have a nasty looking defense right now. They have a nasty looking defense right now. It may be old, but it's a nasty looking defense. Arizona, I honestly, I think you guys could probably sweep Arizona. I think you guys can sweep Arizona. I think that's your 7th win right there. Green Bay, December 15th. What week is that? I don't even know what week that is. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Week 15. I think you guys can beat Green Bay. I think you guys can beat Minnesota. Oh man. This Chicago team's going to be the hardest one to judge. I don't know what they are yet. It's just everything's so new there, and I understand the talent's there. I understand they have the capability of doing great things, but again, you have a rookie quarterback. Can he survive this long? Look, guys, and let me tell you something. Rookie quarterbacks, as talented as they are, their first year is always the hardest. There is so many eyes on them. There is so much pressure built on them. These stress levels that's on there as rookie quarterbacks to not lose their job is very hard. Because in college, they play 12 to 15 games. That's including championship. You're asking this man to play past that. He's never played this many games before in his life. I think you guys beat them. I think at this point, Caleb Williams gets tired, even if they are as hot as they are. Say they do really good, right? This could be a point where they start losing. Just because he's running out of those embers. He's getting tired. I don't know. I think that you get that 10th win in LA. I think you guys tank that one. I say 10 wins. I think you guys tank that last one. I think you guys have enough wins. I think LA Rams might be in, like, depending on how LA does. If they lose or they're losing, they're not going to, that win doesn't really matter. I think they're going to have the division. So I think I say 10 wins. 10 wins. And let me look at the comments, see what you guys say. Tua says 10. He says, I got him for 10. Playoff bound. And Derpy says 8. All right. So let's go to our screen. So we got 2 10s and an 8. That might narrow it down to what, 9.5? That might be 9.5 or 9, but I think it should be 9.5. Let's see here. Let me do some. I want to say it's 9.5, but I do want to make sure make sure I'm good, or at least I'm correct. Oh no, 9.3. 9.3. So we'll leave it at 9. We'll leave it at 9. Let's put our chart up here. I already got it ready, so get the schedule out of the way. Okay, so we'll leave it at 9. And there, for those who missed it, in that division, we only covered the Cardinals, and they're at 6.5. So far, the NFC West, we've only covered the Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. We have them over the Cardinals by almost 3 games. So, as for the rest of the NFC, we have Washington at 6, New York at 5, and the NFC North, we have the Vikings at 5 and Chicago at 9. So, and then NFC South, the Falcons at 10 and the Saints at 8.5. And that's just because of strength of divisions, the strength of schedules, and strength of how well they play. The Falcons have such an easy schedule towards the end of the year. I am still shocked, and I'm looking at that 10 like, wow. All right, so Seahawks 9. Overall, what do I got for you guys? It's not looking too half bad. 9 wins on the second year head coach, right? You guys have the talent. You guys have the key weapons. You guys have everything looking your way. I think by next year it's going to look a little bit different. I think you guys should have your overall picks still. I think you guys have your first. Yeah, you have your first, your second, your third, your fourth, but you don't have a fifth. I strongly suggest with your first overall pick next year is to go after like a linebacker. Like, who is he? LSU kid. Harold Perkins. That's why I suggest you should probably shit. You guys need another. You guys, like, I understand, like I said, Weatherspoon's good. It's good, but I feel like you guys need another linebacker. Jerome Baker, coming here from Miami, interesting. Nuoso, good. But I think you guys, I don't see them as like crazy good lead. Jerome Baker, yeah, but he just got there. I feel like if you bring an established guy who's a high draft pick and it's a first overall pick, and after by year 2, like Witherspoon, I think it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna definitely. I think you guys might get the Legion of Boom back. It's this close. I think so. But anyways, guys, I 9 isn't too bad. 10, Derpy gave him 8, so they narrowed it down to 9. But I do think they're gonna go 10. I think they'll go 10. But Derpy kind of ruined that for his 8. So as we do as community base, we kind of do the average. So we have them sitting at 9, which is still a good possibility to go into playoffs, and I think they are playoff bound as well. I agree with you, Toa. So overall, guys, we're going to be back here again today. We're going to do our Wednesday night shenanigans. So if you miss out on that, not to worry. I'll probably put it out on Spotify. Usually we do. So if you miss it, listen to us. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see what we're doing, but it's all good. I think we might have a mock draft tonight. So other than that, though, guys, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever the hell you guys are at. This is the Seattle Seahawks on Dynasty Pylon. I'll catch you guys later, and thanks for watching. Later.
Getting hype when I aim up. Elevating that game up. Stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate.